Well, welcome to Life on the Bench. Dave, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. Now, this week's quite exciting, I guess, for Dave and myself because we've finally ventured into the world of social media.
Yeah. Making our debut.
Yeah, because I guess on a personal side of social media, it's not something that we've really done ever.
No, not really.
And it's
We've
more,
kind of missed that boat
yeah,
a few times.
we've definitely had accounts and stuff, but we never just get involved or see the point behind it. But I guess as part of this podcast, we wanted to get ourselves out there for social media. So we've now got, we have a Twitter, Facebook and Instagram and also a website. So the details for that are, in case you're interested, so if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, we're at Life on the Bench. On Instagram, we are at Life on the Bench Podcast. On Facebook, we have our own Facebook page where you can search us on Life on the Bench Podcast. Our website is lifeonthebench.buzzsprout.com.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can find us on all these social media platforms.
That's it. Gone from zero to hero.
Pretty much. I mean, I think we've been told or did looking into, and apparently podcasts should have those things. So we thought we'd give it a try.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect great things from us at the moment. Really, I think we're just going to be putting out photos of different benches that we really appreciate and look like a nice hangout spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what it's all about for us. So just picturing benches and taking pictures of them.
Yeah,
So why not?
yeah, exactly right. Well, yeah, it's our weekly catch up. How's your week, Dave?
Pretty busy.
Busy?
Busy. Tucking an extra busy there. 3 busies.
Yeah.
Busy.
Nice.
And yours?
Well, yeah, well, the same. Yeah, just this week seemed to really fly by. Actually, haven't really got much done around the house, but lots of general just family time. Really,
That's
just
good.
getting used to it. I've got two kids. I think I've mentioned that briefly before. With a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old, so getting used to the change of that's in life. That comes with that. It's definitely a lot more responsibility. And a lot more effort that goes in, but it's well worth it. But in general, it's just quite tiring.
I can imagine. What about those 5 a.m. workouts? How's that going?
Oh, yeah. So the 5 a.m. workouts, they don't feel great,
No.
to be honest. And that's just to explain that. That's trying to still get in some sort of exercise just because it obviously feels good for your body, your soul, your mind, just everything in general. And I've found out probably the best time I could have to do that, I need to wake up at about 5 a.m. and do it all before work because it's not really realistic at the moment for me to go to work, come back, spend the family time, the children in bed. Then I'll be doing exercise and working out maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. I think that's just a bit too late.
Yeah, that might burn you out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, there's people do it all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg,
Well, exactly right.
Jocko Willing,
Jocko Willink, he's a
Yeah.
big one. Yeah.
The Rock. Apparently, he wakes up pretty early.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there you go. You in pretty good company there.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll take inspiration from them. I think maybe I could use our social media for good. Maybe we should follow all of those. I think we follow Jocko already. Maybe I should follow those other people as well to get inspiration from their photos.
Yeah. Well, if they're up at 4 a.m. and they're busy as what they are,
And they'll be much busier than us, I think.
yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
probably no excuses then. That's just it. Just no excuses.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to that Jocko podcast with Joe Rogan recently.
Yeah.
And it's just how they have that consistent, like, got to be doing something itch that can never
Yes.
be scratched.
Yeah.
And you just got to cultivate that, and it's, I don't know, some people just have it. Some people just can't not.
Exactly right. I definitely think for those two people, Joe Rogan and Jocko Willink, they seem to be the ones that it's built into. I think I've got that, but maybe I think definitely to a much smaller extent. It's very impressive the drive they have.
But that just comes with time as well. I mean, they've cultivated that need. They understand the importance of it, and it's pretty good to see people like that are, like you said, busier than us. They're still doing what they have to. They're not resting on their laurels, and that's the one good thing about training is that you can have the most expensive personal trainer in the world, but if you don't do the work, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly
So
right.
it's something you can't fake it. So you have to train, right? So there's no getting away around it.
That's so true, isn't it? And I guess we can always look at the people that have money. Maybe just celebrities might be a good example here. They have access to money, so therefore they do have access to the best trainers, the best nutritionists, but they still need to make the choice to actually do the work. You can have someone there yelling at you, screaming, giving you all the right things, telling you all the right things to do, but if you don't do it, well, then you won't see the results.
Well, you just got to find motivation as well, isn't it? Like, you just got to find the right motivation, not just
Yes.
look at a motivational poster and
Yeah.
you know, that's not going to sustain you.
No.
And I mean, if you need any more motivation, then Ronnie Coleman, the man,
Oh, yeah.
what was it? 34 years old when he won his first Olympia, something like that.
Yeah.
Full-time police officer. I think he won like 3 Olympias whilst being a police officer.
Yes, he did, yeah.
And then just only, well, according to him, training for about an hour and a half, maybe an hour. Just get in there, get it done, you know. And for those of you that have watched his documentary, which highly recommend,
Yep.
all for a free membership.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's all he wanted. He wanted a free membership to a gym, so he just turned pro, didn't he?
Well, wasn't it that like he turned pro, and like his first competition he won was like Mr. Olympia, something ridiculous. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't
something crazy, yeah.
like he didn't even go through like the smaller competitions. He just turned pro and won Olympia, and then never lost it for the next 7 years or whatever it was.
Yeah, just so amazing. Well, I think his drive is on display even now. Mentioning Joe Rogan again, he was on there recently, and he still trains daily. But then the toll it's taken on his body, and he still says he wouldn't do anything different. He's pretty much his entire spine is fused together. He's in constant pain. And I know I've seen footage of him. He's just always sweating, and that's definitely a byproduct of how much pain you're in.
Probably,
you know, your body heat, your body temperature would go up. You're just sweating all the time. Yeah, but he just gets after it still. He can't live without training. He just needs it.
He's a legend. So I mean, that's no regrets for him. If only regrets, like you said, is lifting more weight or more reps rather.
Yeah,
and probably pushing himself harder. I'd imagine. I just don't think people like that regret what they do. You know.
no.
And if you ask them, like before this all began, would you do it? I'm sure you'd say yes.
Oh, definitely. I think the history is there for all professional athletes where the things they're willing to do to win gold or just attain some sort of greatness is absolutely amazing. Just how competitive they are and how badly they want it. They would gladly give up a couple decades of their life, I think.
Sure. And I mean, I suppose Ronnie, he's a good case of someone. Well, he hasn't, like he says he's healthy, obviously, like his organs and whatnot are healthy. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's pretty broken with his muscles and whatnot. But you know what, to achieve what he's achieved,
Yeah.
like I think that's what it takes. Not many people are willing to do that. You know, not many people are willing to wake up when he did. You know,
Yeah.
eat like 6 times a day,
Yeah.
something crazy, and yeah, the results speak for itself.
Oh, definitely.
And then you get these guys who think they can achieve that sort of level, but only on 50% of what he does.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
No, it's all the behind the scenes work. It truly is, you know, the things that people aren't willing to do because not everyone has that champion mindset.
And that they have that, what's it, wouldn't it be nice mindset? Well, that must be nice.
Oh, yes.
Mindset.
Yeah.
You know, that must be nice being 7 times Mr. Olympia. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, it is nice.
it really is.
Yeah, but I had to work for it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. And you can't like take away anything from it. You can always just say it's steroids and all that sort of nonsense. But I mean, all his competitors on the same stuff. So
Well, exactly
to me,
right.
it's a even playing ground
Yeah.
in that regards.
Yeah, so that argument just cancels itself out, I think, especially because a lot of people, you know, they go, all right, bodybuilding, well, steroids, fine. That's why he's so big. Well, it's not true. Steroids will help you, but not to that extent. Have you seen the guys in the natural? The guys in the natural, they're extremely defined, massive muscles still, and they haven't taken steroids. The main difference is, isn't it really size and maybe a bit more definition?
Sure. Yeah. So it's still, you know, it's an even field as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And it's the same like Tour de France and all those.
Oh,
those,
yeah.
You know, the top 20 athletes, they're all taking
I think
something.
they're definitely all doing something.
This is obviously from a very unprofessional cycling opinion that I have.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident most of them. But then that documentary where that guy did the full course of steroids, or EPOs,
Oh, yes, yeah.
rather, and it didn't make him any better.
He got worse, didn't he?
He got worse. Yeah,
He did the same course a year later or something after a full cycle of steroids and performance enhancing drugs. Yeah, and his time was slower than the previous year, which he did all naturally.
So it just shows like it might not even help.
Yeah.
So I think you still got to be good, regardless.
Oh, definitely.
Like, you're not going to wake up one day after like maybe start training when you're 30,
Yeah.
and then 4 years later you're going to win Mr. Olympia or something. It's not going to happen. But then like you get the opposite end of the spectrum, still high up obviously, but like someone like Cameron Haynes, he's obviously on Joe Rogan quite often.
Yes, yeah.
And this guy, for those that don't know, runs a marathon, or not a marathon every day.
Yeah, marathon a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily a full marathon straight off the bat, but accumulative throughout the day.
Yeah.
And for those who say, he's probably got a lot of time. Yeah, he does before and after work, because he still does 8 hours of work every day.
Still does a full 8 hour day. Because I think he wakes up again. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. You know, he'll get that first little bit in. He takes an extended lunch break, maybe 90 minutes, so he can run another 10 plus kilometers. But he still works a full 8 hours, and then after that, he'll do weights at night, late at night weights, and he's also one of the best bow hunters in the world. So every day he's always practicing his bow shooting, or whatever you call it, bow shooting, arrow shooting. I'm not too sure.
Archery.
But he's just got that passion for it and that drive, and he gets it done.
That's those are the people that you want to sort of idolize. Like those are the people you want to hold in great heights, because like these are people that are great at what they do. These aren't people that seek out fame just to be famous. These aren't people that when they grow up they just want to be famous. Like, what do you want to be famous for? They don't that worry. They're not worried about that. Yeah, they're more concerned about what they love doing, which in turn makes them famous. Yeah, it's like you ask all the kids these days, they all want to be bloody SoundCloud rappers or YouTube stars. Whichever one comes first. Yeah, and they just expect that fame. Yeah, that'll just happen. And yeah, it's so far from reality that someone needs to give these kids a good chat. Also, just and I think for that as well, it's obviously great to have dreams, but you need to bring that dream in some aspects back to reality and know what does it take, what is the behind the scenes work, what are the logistics of this, what do I need to do to get this done. And I think when most people find out what exactly it is they need to do to get it done, it scares them off. Oh yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts on that one, I guess. Yeah. Well, another thing I think that we haven't really chatted about in a while, and I was thinking about it quite a lot this week. You have a busy week, and your mind wanders on the drive to and from work. You're like, oh my goodness, another day. But I was just thinking about stuff that we did together. Man, how long ago was it now? Probably 8 or so years ago, when we took our first trip overseas together to New Zealand. I remember it fondly. Oh man. Yeah, and it's just thoughts like that, because it was such a fun trip, and then just makes me smile and all the stuff we got up to. Because Dave and myself, we took a trip. I think it was 3 weeks. Was it 3 weeks? 3 week long trip. It was to see our friend Ben, who after high school, or maybe 1 or 2 years after high school, he moved to New Zealand. Well, I think it was just after his 18th birthday, wasn't it? No, because I remember, or maybe his 21st. I think it could have been 21st, because I remember it was like 10 days after his birthday, and like he literally said, "Oh, I'm moving to New Zealand next week." Yeah, some like crazy time period like that. Yeah, it felt so quick. Out of nowhere. Like, and then, all right. Well, because we were on a trip as well in Margaret River. So that's Margaret River, is to the south in southwestern Australia. Very popular holiday destination for those of you not aware. But yeah, we were down there for a couple of days camping and that. And then, wasn't it on that trip when Ben just all of a sudden was like, "Oh, I'm moving now," or "I'm moving in a couple of days"? I think my first recollection was standing outside his house.
Okay.
on that massive hill.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, moving so casual, moving to New Zealand.
Yeah, just like, whatever. I'm just moving
Okay.
country.
Fair enough.
Don't know if he'll ever come back. And he hasn't come back yet.
No, he hasn't. He's maintained his promise.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it's been over a decade.
It wouldn't
now.
surprise me if he has come back and just like didn't tell us.
Yeah, he's that type of guy too,
Yeah.
who keeps things very close to the chest.
That's 33%. There you go. You gotta
Yeah.
live that life, that 33% life.
Yeah. What's that? People should only know 33% about you.
So if you got 4 friends, so obviously you only tell, 3 friends, there's 4 of you in total. You tell each person 33% about
Yeah.
what they need to know
Yeah.
in case one of you ever gets caught. So if you get interrogated,
Yeah.
they can't spill too much on you.
Well, exactly right. That's a bit of a mentality we've had for ages because, we've known each other for over 10 years now. And I think I've only recently learned your birthday. I mean, I knew when it was every year just because you might have said, "Oh, it's my birthday today," but I didn't know it before. You know, I guess to us, like things like that, it wasn't. Well, I never saw it as being that important.
Nah.
Do you rate me as a quality friend because I remember the day you were born?
No, not really.
You know,
to be
or for the really good times you have hanging out and doing things together.
But that's when I did have Facebook a few years ago, my own personal account, and people I never spoke to, obviously, and they all wished me a happy birthday.
Yeah, it's
So,
weird, isn't it? That's
yeah.
a weird aspect of social media, I find. You know, you never talk to that person ever, and because they're a friend on Facebook or whatever, they see it's your birthday because it's announced to them or something like that, or they're informed through some algorithm, and then they wish you a happy birthday.
Yep, just like little robots.
Yeah,
You know, just fulfilling their part of the prophecy.
pretty much.
That is.
Okay, I'll say happy birthday because I got
Mm.
told to by Facebook.
I wonder if Facebook gets like, for every like person that says happy birthday,
Yeah,
like they get like an extra $5.
or maybe.
like an incentive, like every like that someone does or something, it's like 1 cent.
Well, they must get some in because they're worth so much money.
And they know what they're doing. It's literally set up to get people addicted. Like just the whole context. I remember reading an article a long time ago how when you used to click like, for example, and it used to come up blue.
Okay.
Like the little logo was a blue logo, but it didn't stand out. So
All
people weren't really that interested in it. But as soon as they changed to red,
Yeah.
it released more dopamine and it
Really?
stood out.
Interesting.
And it became way more addictive and way more apparent, and people kept doing it more and more.
Yeah.
Just that simple like psychology.
Wow.
And before you know it, people are fixating on how many likes they got.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a good post and it didn't get like more than 10 likes and whatnot, or 20 or 30, I don't even know what's good.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 for me is good. But yeah, and then people deleting it like it never happened.
Oh, after they make a post. Yeah, you see quite a lot of that in the news, don't you? A post that was deleted, but then people are always super quick to screenshot it. Well, that's not even something I would think to do if I read a post.
No.
Oh, let's screenshot this.
Yeah.
I'll just read it and go, okay.
Well, I think maybe people just like screenshot stuff before they even read it, just in case it disappears 2 seconds later.
Yeah, possibly.
Like professional screenshotters.
Yeah, they just need the evidence of something to
That's
happen,
it, just in case.
Quick screenshot it.
That's it, just in case. Gotcha.
Oh, what's that app? There's like an app that, I don't know if it's Snapchat, but there's an app where things show up for a couple seconds and then you don't see them
Snapchat.
again.
Yeah.
And people were sending things like nudes or explicit content or whatever, but people would just screenshot it. Well, we got it now.
Yeah, that's it. So I remember a friend told me about that one. And yeah, if you screenshot it, apparently it sends you a message saying someone screenshotted it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that doesn't help. They've got the screenshot.
Yeah, how you can't access their phone and delete it.
Yeah, so the only way you're going to get it back is if you ask them to delete it, but it's still going to be somewhere. So my advice, don't do anything like that. It's pretty stupid.
No, don't. You definitely shouldn't send anything like that because anything with technology is forever. You know,
even this audio recording, we can, or at least as soon as we upload it to the internet, it's going to be there forever.
Yeah, exactly right.
Whether we want to believe that or not,
it will be. It will be somewhere. And that's why I guess with anything, I think anything you put out to the public, we obviously we don't have many listeners at the moment, but anything you put out there is for forever. You don't know down the track who will access it. So you need to make sure of what you're putting out there you're comfortable with. 10 years time, you're going to be comfortable with what you said. You know?
Exactly. It's just like having a good haircut. You
Yeah.
never want to have a stupid haircut because
Yeah,
if you look back
exactly.
on your photos in 10 years' time
Yeah,
and you look like an idiot,
yeah,
you're going to regret it. So never have a stupid haircut,
yeah,
and that's, for guys, it's pretty straightforward. Just keep it short.
yeah.
Keep it
That's
short and simple.
exactly right.
That's the KISS protocol. Keep it short. What? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
That's none of these bloody mullets and, these flock of seagulls haircuts, as I like to refer to them.
Yeah,
It's like these kids that take their end of school photos and whatnot, and then you look back on it and you just think, well, what was I? Like the kids that we graduated with, we went through school during the emo phase when that was a big thing.
oh yeah,
And then like some of our contemporaries, bloody eyeline mascara,
yeah,
purple hair, flock of seagulls. And I can guarantee you they don't look anything like that today. It would be weird seeing a 32, 31-year-old male walking around looking like that.
Yeah, I think it would be strange. Yeah,
And then when they show their kids, oh, this is your father
yeah,
when he was your age, they're not going to respect you.
yeah. It's definitely strange. I mean, I know I had some silly haircuts over the years. Probably my worst one was around when we met.
The bullfed.
Yeah, the bullfed, pretty much. I know I regularly got called Guy Sebastian. And that really used to piss me off. But, I've got curly hair and it gets frizzy. And it was just literally like a white guy afro. It was so terrible.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty
was
apparent.
That was my worst ever haircut. But I think fairly soon, I don't remember when it was exactly when I shaved it. Probably, maybe after year 12, soon after. But for the last decade, I think at least, I've had just shaved head.
I think that's the way to go, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't go wrong with that. And most men, well, a lot of men, should probably shave their heads, to be honest. Especially if you're balding.
Yeah, we've got a few people that we know that they're balding. They've got the what's it called? The widow's peaks.
A receding hairline.
Receding hairline. But it's just living in denial.
That's it. And I can attest to that because I am one of those people that does shave my head now because I do realize that my time has come and gone, and I'm not gonna fight that battle.
Yeah.
You don't want to go through the 5 stages of balding, and then I need to get to stage 5 to realize that you just got to shave your head.
Well, exactly right. And I think no matter who you are, I think it just looks terrible. We've all had those teachers or people we saw when we were kids. They've got the hair around the side of their heads, above their ears and around the back, and then they've just got the comb over in the middle. It's like, what are you doing, man?
The barcode.
Oh yeah, the barcode. just the wispiness. The breeze will come along.
Just lift 1 or 2 follicles.
Yeah. Or even just flap up like a bunch of lips or something. Just flapping the hair flaps in the breeze. Yeah, man. You just need to. Well, I just even say if you need a famous reference, just like Jason Statham, he's gone bald. Just shave it. He's got a tiny bit of regrowth.
And then I bet you if you look at him when he had full head of hair, like he'd look more attractive now, I would imagine.
Oh, I think so. Well, because you grow into it.
Yeah.
But if you're receding and you want to have just this massive, it's basically like a front mullet. We know. you just want to have a frullet,
That's it.
It's just terrible. Just embrace it. If you're going balding, just shave it.
Or the worst is the horseshoe. Those guys that they're like me, for example. I'm balding from the middle.
Yeah.
But then they grow their hair at the back out, and they grow their hair at the front.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Is that called a horseshoe?
That's what I call it. I don't know if that's the official term, but I like to refer to it as that. And once you do start going bald and you do embrace the shaved head, it gives you freedom to just go around to every other guy and tell them to shave their head.
Yeah.
You give it good advice then.
Yeah.
You got to be looking out for these people.
Well, exactly. And it's kind of like, I think if you're in denial about going bald and you're trying to cover it up, it's like a man's version of what women will wear. They'll wear like a girdle or maybe it's called a garter belt or whatever to like suck their figure in. You're just lying. Or the magic bra.
That's it. Suck the gut in.
Yeah. You're just not being truthful with yourself.
No, you gotta realize what you are. There's nothing wrong with what you are.
No.
But if you want to change it, you can't be in denial. That's the first stage of any positive change.
Yeah.
You know, you get all these people that you know they 100 kilograms overweight. You know, it's like for example, like a female.
Yeah.
It's like he weighs 200 kilograms. Now I only weigh 90. I get to probably like 90, 95 sometimes. I fluctuate up and down.
Yeah.
And I don't know where someone, especially a female, who's smaller bones, etc., how they can get close to 200 kilograms. It's like, surely when you pass the first 100 kilogram hurdle or milestone, like that's a reality to maybe take like acknowledgement that maybe something needs to change.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not concerned about your weight, that's fine as well. But then you just can't be in denial. You know, you can't excuse it for what it is, and you got to be aware that it is dangerous. You know, it does have consequences, and it's not just overweight people. It's people that smoke as well. It's people that drink too much alcohol. You know, it's people that eat too much sugar.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that I'm perfect myself. I don't smoke. I don't really drink, but I do eat a lot of sugar. So there's 1 out of 3. But you know, I'm not perfect myself. So you just can't deny the facts. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Oh, definitely. And it is amazing the things that people do to their body, and they don't think about it. And even the long-term effects, like you said, really good ones. And I think with Australian culture especially, we've really got drinking alcohol seems to be accepted as something that everyone does, which I'm fine with, but only with a certain extent. You know, I'm fine if you want to go out and have just a casual drink. You might have 1 or 2, but you're not drunk. So you're making sure at all times you're in control of your actions and what you're doing. But the point where it really frustrates me, and I've seen quite a lot of this, is where you have parents that they might have a children's birthday party. They'll go there, and the focus of the party should be the children. It's a children's birthday party, but you know, the adults have a really good supply of alcohol. They use it as an excuse to unwind because they're so stressed as a parent, or they need to have time to themselves, you know, something like that. And then they'll just get drunk. And the amount of kids that have just told me, you know, because I've done a lot of coaching as well of children, as we mentioned before. And I just say the things that kids tell you is really interesting. Even as just their coach, I'll ask them, okay, how was your weekend, or what did you do? And so many of them would go, oh, you know, we went to the beach, but we were there for the whole day. It just got really annoying though, because all the parents got really drunk and they didn't want to talk to us or anything.
And when they were, that's just obnoxious and loud. Yeah.
It's completely inappropriate. No, I get everyone needs their little vice or something that they need to unwind, but you're adult, there needs to be a higher expectation of behavior. But then also you're pretty much saying to your children, I don't mind if you get drunk and act irresponsible and don't look after things that you should. And that's what you're telling them.
And that's the thing, is like these kids are a responsibility, regardless if they're all planned or unplanned.
Yeah.
You know, the point is they're yours now, and you have to look after them and set the example.
Yep.
So if you're very willing to, you know, have a kid without, you know, you're not willing to sort of sacrifice and take precautions so you don't have a kid, and then you end up having one, well, that's your problem, isn't it? You know, you need to step up to the plate. You know, you can't just have the child and then carry on life as is. I mean, I don't have any kids, but I can imagine when you do have a kid, your sort of priorities change quite significantly as to what's more important.
Yeah.
And the fact is, a lot of people just don't change their priorities, and you know, they let their kids fall by the wayside. They don't give them the education that they need. They don't set the example.
Yeah.
You know, that's the big one, is setting the example for a child. And yeah, a lot of people just, especially these last few generations.
Yes.
I think kids have had some terrible role models across the board. You know,
Yeah.
there's obviously a lot of families out there that still do a fantastic job and raise their kids well and do the right thing. But yeah, I think I heard like some statistic the other day. It was like single parent families has like from the 60s to now has increased from like 5% to 40%.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
Mm.
And that's definitely, from what I've read too and heard, the breakdown of the traditional family structure. That's what's led to this. You know, you have complete communities that are just fatherless. You've got single mothers having to raise everyone. You know, you might have more of the opposite where it's just the dad raising the kids as well. But either way around that, it is you only have one parent where you need two.
You need both.
And if you don't have both, you need a very strong, wider community around you that will help to raise your child as well, which is something that's definitely not occurring in a lot of places.
And you just see like just in the shopping centers when you see like these misbehaving kids.
Yeah.
And no one's willing to like step up. Like if a kid's like literally doing the wrong thing, like whatever, skating in a shopping center where it says clearly do not skate.
Yeah.
People would literally just ignore them because they're so afraid of telling the kid off because the parent might get upset.
It's amazing.
Whereas like 10, 20, 30 years ago, that kid would get blasted by 20 other people. Well, the kid wouldn't do it. Full stop.
Yeah, it's probably the kid wouldn't even do it.
You know? And now these kids get away with it because they have never been told no by multiple people.
Yeah.
You know, they have never been shown the way how to act in public, how to act at a restaurant, you know. Like I went to the restaurant the other day and there was this kid there with his phone sitting with his parents listening to the music out loud, like through his phone in a public setting. It's like
that's irresponsible parenting.
And the parents just let it go because obviously the kid
wasn't screaming or something.
Wasn't screaming, but I was listening to the nursery rhymes and you know,
no, you don't. No.
So
give the kid headphones. Why are you disturbing those around you? That to me is not acceptable. You can't. That seems like a very selfish view on things. They might be stressed about things going on. You know, I get it. I got kids as well, but you go into a public place. You can't go into a public place and give your child something that then creates extra noise, especially in somewhere like a restaurant, playing a game, singing nursery rhymes. No, if you want to do that, which I think if you're just giving them games to play with is irresponsible anyway, you need to raise them a bit better than that. Have a bit more focus on attention. Why don't you actually have a conversation with your child? But if you're resorting to technology so they just become mindless and they won't talk to you, okay, do that. That's your prerogative. But put some headphones on them then. You don't need to disturb the diners around you. It's not their business to know nursery rhymes. They haven't come to a public place, a restaurant. If they came to maybe, you know, a childcare centre or maybe then you should expect to hear nursery rhymes, but not at a restaurant.
No,
far out.
Not. Yeah, which is very frustrating. And it's unfortunate because you can't, you could probably go up to the parents and say, listen, you're disturbing everybody else here. And, you know, I think a lot of people would say, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was disturbing you. Yeah. I'll address that issue immediately. But then you're going to get those other people that will take offense to it and I have my liberties and my rights and I can do what I want. It's like that lady at bloody Bunnings who refused to wear... Bunnings is a massive hardware store in Australia and New Zealand. Started in Perth. Bit of a backstory. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
Getting sidetracked. I think it started in Bunbury. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one is in Victoria, in Melbourne. And that lady who flat out refused to wear a mask. Did you see that story?
I did, yes.
And labelled as a Karen. which
is going around at the moment.
Which is a global sensation.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's always a truth in a stereotype. There's always some truth to any stereotype.
Yeah.
And she nailed it.
Yeah.
She absolutely nailed it. You know, if you want a 100% clear representation of what that person looks like, I implore all of you to just research Karen in Melbourne, and it's amazing. You could not make this stuff up.
Yeah.
And this the entitlement that she has.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And how she's gonna. I think it was I actually couldn't watch the whole thing. I was too embarrassed for her, and just how she's going to take this guy to court
Yeah.
for simply doing his job
Yeah.
on private property.
Mhm.
Last time I checked, any private
Any business?
business has the right to serve whoever they feel,
Yeah.
has the right to refuse service to anyone they feel.
Yeah. And she was breaking store policy, but I'm pretty sure she was also breaking state policy, right?
Yeah, during a pandemic.
Yeah, it's a statewide policy.
Yeah, it's a pandemic. It's not as though they are enforcing you to wear masks during, just a normal pre-pandemic time.
Yeah.
This is a worldwide thing that's happening, and people are dying left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And, it's just irresponsible. It's entitled.
Mm.
It's disrespectful to everybody else around. It's
Yeah.
a whole lot of these negative connotations.
But also to the people that they had family members that died, and they weren't. There's so many stories out there. Their family member died, and they were not able to visit them in the hospital.
Mm.
So okay, that's pretty bad. And then you hear the details about how these people die. Their lungs fill up with fluid, so it must feel like you're drowning.
Mm.
So imagine that. Then surely there's someone that everyone cares about.
Mm.
Even if I imagine my wife or my kids, and I would not be allowed to see them, and I know they're dying. That's soul destroying. And then you have the people like this. We're just plain idiots, really.
They are, and they need to be called out for it.
Yeah, I think they do too.
And the fact of the matter is, most people, and I'm very confident in this, will agree with us in this regards. I mean, we might say stuff that a lot of people don't agree with, but I think in this regard, I think we're in the general consensus that what she did, and people like her, men and women, I'd say let's call them Kevins, just to make it.
Yeah, the guy Kevins and Karens. Yeah,
Kevins and Karens out there. I mean, I'm sure there's some pretty awesome Kevins out there, but I think she would have gone out of her way to do that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm gonna prove a point. The system can't hold me down.
Yeah.
You know what? The system is the reason why you have what you have.
Yeah.
The system is why you're living in a first world country.
Yep.
So if you want to go up against the system, fair enough, but then please just forego all first world, Australian sort of advancements, for houses, electricity,
Exactly
technology,
right.
whatever. You're more than welcome not to utilize any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But please, when you do lose all your worldly possessions because you no longer live in a house and everything you own is on the streets and someone steals them, please don't call the cops.
Yeah.
Because clearly you don't believe in what they stand for.
Well, exactly right. But it's also just I think it's a reflection on how good things are in areas when you have people that can be such idiots
And complain about that.
and complain about such small things. Your life's pretty good if that's going to make you want to go out of your way. And she's really going out of her way to ruin someone else's day. Because the people that work at Bunnings, I'm sure they don't enjoy having to go through now working in customer service. And I also heard that a lot of customer service workers now are being issued badges on it where it says things like, I am a sister, I'm a brother, I'm a mother, I'm a father, to try to remind customers, well, I'm not just some soulless being here. I'm actually a person. I have emotions and feelings, and I don't enjoy being screamed at all day. Because people are doing that so much more now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, all those heroes out there that can go up to a 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl, boy, working at the checkout at Coles.
Yeah.
And take out all your stress and anger because, I don't know, I'm going to highlight you as in the person screaming, incorrectly scanned your product. So therefore the machine is now lagging and it's busy and you're in a rush. Stuff you, because I would like to think that most people in that situation would turn around and tell that person that they can go elsewhere.
Yeah.
I won't use a rude word, but it's just how good would you feel when you come home, you've just done all your shopping and you know what, you gave some 16-year-old girl a good serve, you just sprayed her and just bloody ruined her day. How good must you feel? You must feel like a real hero.
Exactly right. And it's just it's deplorable. It's so saddening, and that even links back into what we're saying about setting an example. Because you would have so many parents that would do something like that right in front of their kids.
Yeah.
And then you're literally telling your child it's okay to act this way.
Mm.
Your actions speak louder than your words. You'll do that, and then you go, don't do what I did. That don't do what I did. But the kid will do what you did because it's your actions.
Yeah, I know. And I remember once I would have been like 10 years old back when I was still living in South Africa, and I opened up a fridge, you know, where you get like all your bottles of Coke and Pepsi and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So I was getting one out for my mum because we were shopping at the time. So I was getting one out, and I'll never forget this. And I opened the fridge door to grab one for myself, and I could see some lady coming up behind me. So I held the door open for her.
Yeah.
You know, and my mum was right next to me, so she was seeing the whole thing. And generally, you would say, like, thank you for opening the door. Little 10-year-old, you know, pretty good manners, I'd think.
Oh, definitely.
And this lady literally barged in, like, almost like shoulder charged me out the way so she could reach in and get something that was, all she had to do was literally extend her arm out.
Mm.
Didn't say thank you, didn't say anything, and just walked off.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that was, like, my very first, like, realization that some people are just jerks.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not going to get around it. It's just
there's definitely
people in society.
that, and they're the people that you won't change them.
No.
That's who they are to their core.
Mm.
You know, they've it's only had that selfish mentality. I'll look after myself and no one else.
And I remember, like, speaking to her, my mum, afterwards, and she said, yeah, that was a good life lesson right there. Like, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, most people will say thank you. Most people will be happy that you did that. But obviously this person's a bit of an idiot, and it doesn't matter where they come from. You know, you get dickheads in every sense of society.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and, you know, you just have to put up with these people.
Yeah, and it's quite frustrating. And it seems to be most laws and rules are made to control those type of people.
Mm.
You know, it's the few that spoil it for the many. It always happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's just the entitlement that gets to me.
Yeah.
Just the entitlement that you know, you are above somebody else simply because you are who you are.
Mm.
Like, whether you're black, you're white, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, the entitlement is that you as an individual are better than somebody else simply because you are, like I said, who you are. And that is so frustrating.
Yeah, and I just think it's so incorrect as well. Like,
definitely.
It's so interesting. Well, because I think everyone's come across that. You'll have people that will act entitled because of what they do for a career, or the place that they're born, or they feel because it's the color of their skin that they're better. You know, just all these things where, to me, that just doesn't even matter. It's like, what do you like as a person deep down in your core? What are your morals and what are your values? How do you treat others?
Well, that's why I always enjoy it especially when we're out in society together, and, you know, like, we do the right thing, and then someone who would assume two young men would be the ones who do the wrong thing in that situation, yet here we are, the ones doing the right thing. You know, it's very counterproductive, or not counterproductive, but counterintuitive. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You would think that this person here would be the person doing the right stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we're just breaking all those stereotypes of young men, and it's amazing because, you know, people just, doesn't matter what age they're or what gender, you just get idiots regardless.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no age limit on an idiot. I mean, you even got young kids.
Yeah,
that you can tell, and it's unfortunate because it's only because of the environment they're raised in. But they've already become, at their core, a fairly terrible person. It's because all that they've had to look up to is maybe violent people or people that just abuse others. And so they think, well, that's what everyone does.
Sure.
You know, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but it definitely happens.
Yeah, I suppose it's just imprinted, isn't it? Like, you learn from what you see.
Yeah.
So, and it's very hard to turn around if all your sort of role models in life are negative. You know, they're all self-serving, they're all self-centered. You know, all these sort of negative characteristics. Of course, that person's going to grow up to be like the people that they grow up around.
Yeah.
So that's why these sort of communities are so important. You got to have communities.
Yes.
And I think lately every community seems to just be breaking down even more and more every year upon year upon year. It just breaks down further and further.
Yeah. Well, everyone seems to be becoming a lot more insular. It's just your little section of the world. It's because there seems to be more distrust as general among people. You're not willing to actually go out there and do things. This could be because our access to information is so much greater than previous generations. So, and the media and in general social media as well, just really promotes all the negative things.
Well, I think sorry.
No, that's all right. You go.
Like you said, I think it's the social media. I think social media is such a massive, it's glaringly obvious that is the fundamental reason why we are how we are currently. I think we hit the sweet spot around about when we were just finishing off school, where it wasn't such a big thing. It wasn't a dominant thing in your life.
Yeah.
You didn't spend your time outside of your house, for example, on social media.
Yeah.
When you needed to actually log onto a desktop to actually get onto your application. Now we can just do it instantaneously. You can do it through a watch, for example. You can be watching. It's like when I went to go watch Roger Federer play tennis a few years ago. He's obviously, in my opinion, one of the best. I'm sure most people share that opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not actually a massive tennis fan, but I still appreciate the significance of what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And most people are there. I'm trying to watch it with my eyes and try to take it all in. And most people are taking pictures and videos and recordings. I'll give you a hint or a clue. It's going to be recorded by professional cameramen, production film teams, etc., etc.
Yeah.
There's going to be a director. There's going to be all sorts. They're going to have highlights. It's going to be fantastic. Go home and watch the replay. Live in the moment.
Yeah.
So many people just they're not living in that moment. They try and capture everything through a little lens, and it's just narrowed their actual perspective of the world.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, what is it to post to whatever the social media is that you want to prove that you were there?
I think it is.
What happened to just telling your mates about it, using your words? You can describe and set the scene with your words.
So much better.
It's kind of like reading a book.
Yeah.
You have an audio book about your experience. You don't need to have a camera up. The same thing happens nowadays at concerts and just everywhere. Everything has to be captured. This is too much of that. Yeah, like you said, use your eyes.
How many people would have individual video of that tennis game?
Yeah.
Probably 17,000 different.
And probably a lot from terrible angles as well, with some bad audio. Out of focus.
It's amazing. I've never understood. I feel quite fortunate in the sense that we've always been able to, we've never got caught up in that trap, because I honestly believe it's a trap.
Yeah. More
people, I think, are starting to realize that it's not what it claims to be. Even the people that make these social media platforms realize how dangerous they are for their kids, for example. They don't let them go on it past X amount of minutes a day. They realize that this stuff is cancerous. It is literally ruining people's lives.
Yeah.
And yet people will happily sign on to the very next one. I remember talking to Ben down at City Beach a few years ago before he moved away, and we had Facebook. This is when I had Facebook, and it just came out. I think Twitter had just turned on, just come on the scene.
Yep.
And I remember I told him, I'll flat out refuse to get whatever comes after Facebook. I will not get, because I was already getting sick of it. Yeah, this was like 2006, maybe 7.
Yeah.
And ever since then, so what the ones that I can think of, it's like Snapchat, Instagram, what's the new one? TikTok.
Oh yeah, I've never used TikTok.
All these things. I'm sure there's more.
Oh, there must be.
Like that, these are just the extras that have occurred now. I know we do some kind of contradicting ourselves with ours, but you know what? I think for us, we're not trying to post our lives on it.
No.
We're trying to post our conversations, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
We're never going to be posting specific individual facts about us.
No.
like, hopefully if this one day does gather a bit of momentum, we will be able to reach out to everyone who's listening and then give some further insight into who we are personally. But as far as I'm concerned, you guys don't necessarily need to know when you're born, when I'm born. It'll happen naturally through conversation.
Exactly.
And I think that's the whole point of this.
Yeah,
this
exactly
podcast.
right. And we're doing it again. It's mostly just for us, for something that's different and fun. Then we're going to have digital recordings of our hangouts for years to come, which is really exciting. But yeah, we definitely don't need to post all that stuff about us. You can learn about us through conversation. That's how Dave and myself have gotten to know each other. It's our favorite thing to do. Literally, it is sitting on the bench conversing with each other.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So we're not going to change who we are and what we do just for the podcast.
No.
So that's why hopefully we attract people that want to listen that are the same. They just really like listening to a good conversation.
That's it.
We don't need all that extra fluff around it. We're just here for a nice conversation to cap off really a week.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
That's it. And, if those people that are listening, I strongly recommend getting your friends around or your partner or whoever, someone that you just enjoy talking to.
Yeah.
And make time. Just make some time once a week. You'll be amazed at what you learn. Just a different way of thinking. Like, you might think you know someone, but then the next week they say something completely different and changes your whole way of thinking yourself.
Yeah.
And you sort of grow together. I think we have grown up in a sense together, especially with our 20s, definitely.
Yeah.
And our late teens. We have kind of shaped who we are, which is pretty interesting. You definitely are shaped by the people you surround yourself with. So yeah, surround yourself with good, positive people.
Yeah.
And it will definitely make a difference.
Yeah, and I think just try to have a conversation that's, you don't have a phone on you. You're not looking at your phone. You're not watching TV in the background. Just no distractions.
Just be in the moment.
Yeah, and that's why we went to a park. We're on a bench because it's not distracting. The only thing really that could be distracting is the beautiful nature around you.
Yeah.
But then again, how often do you get out into nature as well?
Well, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I think most people should be taking advantage of it. Well, we're very fortunate here, though. We have got a lot of great surroundings.
We are.
I imagine if you lived in New York City, I've never been there, so I'm just assuming. But I imagine, unless you're going to Central Park, you're probably just sitting at a bus stop.
I guess so, yeah. Or you just get a little bench in the corner of your tiny apartment.
That's it. Bench / your bed.
Yeah.
One of those little shoe closet box apartments.
Yeah, for an extreme amount of money per month.
I think there's an apartment going in this new skyscraper in New York. I watched it the other day.
Yeah.
It's $250 million for an apartment.
What?
I think it's the tallest apartment in maybe the Western Hemisphere or the Northern Hemisphere, one of those.
That just seems something for someone that has a stupid amount of money. But are they going to live in that full time? Probably not.
No, they're probably
maybe it's a status buy.
It's definitely a status buy.
Yeah.
But then I think the ones below are 100 million, 80 million.
Yeah.
It's just for peasants below.
Yeah.
And then the ones below that, they're these literally single bedroom apartments.
Yeah.
Going for $1 million.
That's ridiculous.
And someone's going to buy it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Someone's going to buy a $250 million. I think that's 900 square feet. So it is big for an apartment, obviously.
Yeah.
But $250 million, probably. What's that? That's $1 million for each, 4 feet, potentially?
Something crazy.
Something stupid like that.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. Just people having too much money and buying extremely unnecessary things.
Good problem to have, though, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sure no one will turn down being in that situation.
Not at all.
Thank you so much, Dave.
No worries.